Hi, I'm Hannah.
I'm Carol.
I'm Gen Z.
I'm a boomer.
And this is
Generation Chat. Okay, so why'd you drag me here today?
I had a question.
Okay.
So it seems to me that all of my peers, my Gen Z peers, are extremely anxious.
Oh, okay.
And I just want to know what your thoughts are. And if you notice that, and if there's if you see a difference between Gen Z and our anxiousness and your peers and their anxiousness.
Well, I think that in today's world especially, there's probably most generations are anxious. So I don't know if there's a difference in the anxiousness or if it's a difference in the way that we handle it.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so I think boomers would be more taught to kind of just get a thick skin and kind of suck it up and get through things. And I think these later generations have become much more sensitive.
Yes.
Okay, and maybe you'd even say more aware. Okay, so for instance, I feel like the earlier generations still dealt with things and anxieties and depression and all that sort of thing. But I think that it was just kind of considered part of life. So people did kind of just feel like they had to just kind of suck it up, toughen up their skin and move on. Whereas now we are acknowledging feelings more, maybe.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think that there is a stigma in your generation towards therapy and people who seek therapy?
I don't feel like it was so much in my generation. Of course, I am at the very end of the boomers. I think I'm like the last year of boomer. So, but I think generations even previous to the boomer generation, I think there definitely was a stigma.
Really?
Yes, and I think people kind of did look down on it. People just took pride, I think, in like dealing with things or getting through things and maybe not really seeking help.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I remember growing up, I would see on cartoons and on TV shows a lot of jabs, and like people would poke fun at people who went to therapy as well as therapists. Like made them seem kind of hokey, and like if you were seeking therapy or going to therapy, that your problems were like enormous.
Well, yes, I think that might have been the difference. Not that I think people in earlier generations would maybe go seek help, but it would be because things had gotten really pretty bad.
Interesting.
So you would maybe have to be feeling really poorly before you would go get help. Whereas now I think feelings are acknowledged more quickly, and maybe people seek help when they're feeling poorly much earlier on.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. I'm wondering if with like Gen Z, it's almost like preventative and maintenance as well.
Yes, definitely. I would totally agree with that. I think that a lot of our outlook as Gen Z is how do we become better people and how can we like help others become better people.
Well, I do know there have been a lot of jabs with, especially the younger generations being called snowflakes.
Yes.
Okay, in some of the situations where I've seen that, I have to agree.
What?
Really? Yes. Students that are like demanding a safe space. Okay. To me, that's just craziness because we live in the world that we live in and we're always dealing with things. Now, granted, the things we're dealing with may be different from generation to generation, but we do live in a fallen world and there's just issues to deal with. And I think my generation would be probably persuaded to find the safe space within ourselves as opposed to a literal physical safe space to retreat to, because that's just not practical. When things happen and things go on around you, that is not practical to think I'm going to run off and hide in a little space. You have to know how to deal with things and come to that place of like safety and peace within yourself, not within just your surroundings. That to me seems like the younger generation is maybe less equipped. That they have to actually have a physical space to go to as opposed to know how to just deal with things. Now, that's the downside. The upside is that perhaps we are recognizing and acknowledging feelings and the need for some help, and it's accepted now. It's acceptable to go do those things, to get help or to get therapy, whereas it would have been a little bit more frowned upon earlier.
Interesting. So like you would have had to do it like in secret.
Sometimes people did. I think they did. Yeah. I think there was, for some reason there was like a stigma of like shame that came with it, that I'm not all together, because I think we were more expected to kind of suck it up and have a tough skin. And so if you didn't, it was almost like there could be shame that came with that.
That's so interesting because I feel like for us it's so normalized. It's not something secret. And I looked up a statistic actually, and they were saying that about half of Gen Z is taking therapy.
Wow.
And so it's kind of like,
right. So you go, are you that much more anxious and like mentally, unstable, feeling mentally unstable, or is it just that you're just seeking help for it? I think you do have to be careful though about staying in that place or like living in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I think it's good if you need some help to get some help, or you just need to talk things out with your friends or a family member or something. But I think there's a danger in living in that space that every time you get together with your friends, you just have to bare your soul and talk about all the things that are, making you anxious or making you depressed. And if you're living in that place, you're focusing on that. And sometimes I think a way to get past some like anxiety or depression or some other issues is simply a change of perspective.
Yes.
Is the glass half full or is it half empty? I think it's good that these days, no matter what generation, we can speak more openly about things and things are more accepted,
Yeah, I don't know why as a society we're so obsessed with negativity and always complaining. Because we are. And not, saying that just by waking up and just thinking positively that your anxiety is just going to go away.
Right. Sometimes you might need help.
Sometimes you need help. I think that we need to get help and accept the help.
Yes.
Heal and then move on.
But then hopefully the help is also teaching us or helping us to learn to cope.
Well, let us know what you think. Do you think that Gen Z is more anxious than boomers, or do you think that we're all just kind of more aware of it and it's more present on social media? Let us know in the comments.
Yes. Until then, keep a positive outlook. And we'll see you next time on Generation Chat.